What up, peeps? Tony Baker here, back with another movie review. This time I'm reviewing the film Bros, a romantic comedy between two men with commitment issues. Now, y'all know this about me. You may not know this about me. I'm not a fan of romantic comedies. That's like low on the total pole of genres for me. I don't like romantic comedies. I do like some. Like the exceptions might be There's Something About Mary. That's a romantic comedy. I like romantic comedies where they might not even end up together, like The Breakup or like Knocked Up, stuff like that. I like those with a little bit of edge to them and stuff like that. But for the most part, romantic comedies, the two leads standing back to back, looking at each other, arms folded, doing this or you know what I'm saying, or it's the big poster of one of them and then the other one's smaller and they just like looking up at them and it's just like, ugh. I'm tired of the romantic comedies. It's the same thing in every romantic comedy, man. They fall in love under false pretenses. Another one finds out about the false pretense, or it's not what they thought it was. They find out, then they mad. Then the other one's like, look, but it was this. And I didn't realize it until this. But then when you hurt me, so I'm leaving. And then they do this grand gesture of getting the person back at the end. It's like the climax. They gotta fly somewhere. They gotta ride a dragon, or they gotta run in the rain. Or it's just always a desperate race against time. And this doesn't happen in real life. I'm sick of it, man. So with romantic comedies, I'm usually like, ugh, God, unless there's a different twist. And the different twist here is two men. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm in the gay community now. Now, I'm pulling up on the gay community romantic comedy. This is a first for me. So I'm like, all right, let's see what they're talking about. Because, I mean, I saw Brokeback Mountain, but that wasn't a comedy. This is a comedy. So let's see if this new element for me can surpass my eye roll for the romantic comedy cliches. In this movie, they make fun of the Hallmark romantic comedies here. I think that's why they cast Luke McFarlane, who's in several Hallmark romantic comedies. And this film stars Billy Eichner. My girl Sabrina is a big fan of Billy Eichner. He be asking questions of people on the street. And other than that, I didn't really know much about him. I know he did voice work on The Lion King redo, and I didn't really know too much about him. I've never seen him in interviews or anything. So I'm going in fresh. Sabrina was like, yo, we could either watch Bros or Amsterdam. I was like, you pick. And then we went in. Funny story. When I was going to see Bros, there was a fan in the movie theater. And he was like, yo, Tony Baker, I'm a big fan. I was like, oh, man, thank you, man. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what you watching? And he was like, oh, you know, it's just, he stumbled through and he said, Smile. I was like, oh, Smile. I saw that. I liked it. So as me and Sabrina walk into the theater to see Bros, this dude is right behind us. He was going to see Bros the whole time, man. Just say that. You ain't got to be, man, what you ashamed of, man? We in here. Don't be ashamed, man. Watch Bros. So I was like, I thought that was interesting that he was like, yeah, Smile. And then he walked into Bros, man. Be proud of Bros. Be proud of Bros, man. We in here. The story involves Billy Eichner's character, who is 40, single, happy to be single, loving his single life. And he feels like, I'm gonna just probably be alone the whole time. Because, you know, navigating through life as a gay man and, you know, just hooking up with dudes through apps and shit like that. He was just like, I guess this is what it is for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to just be out here smashing random dudes here and there and just, you know, loving my life. I love my job. I love my family. I'm out here. So he meets a guy at the club and they hook up. It's like, you know, where they link up. And it's just like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to go hook up with these dudes later tonight. And it was just like, everybody was just trying to be non-committal. Just like, oh, all right, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. You know, and so it was eye-opening for me, you know, coming into this world of gay men. And I'm just like, yo, they be really out here getting it in. I'm like, they really out here getting it in. Because I know straight men are just pretty much, they'll smash anybody. And so I'm like, well, the gay men, they probably doing that as well. And so it was just like, it was some crazy scenarios in this movie where they just sitting there having threesomes and big ass orgies and they just there together. And I'm just like, yo, they just really out here. This is how it goes down. And I'm just like, wow. Another scene in the movie where it's just like he had hooked up with this dude from Grindr, and it was just like he swapped on his name, then he came over, and then they did some stuff. They didn't really smash fully, but they were just hooking up. And I was just like, man, I'm not built for the just making out with a stranger life. Like I gotta get to know you. Like I can't see you on the internet and be like, come over. And then you come over and then we making out. I gotta have some build up. I gotta have some I don't know, man. You gotta. It's like when I watched Dahmer and that character Tony Hughes was like, earn me. Like you're not just gonna smash me real quick. Earn me. I was like, you goddamn right, man. Gotta earn this penis, if you will. So it was eye opening, man. It was going down in these joints, and the guy played by Luke McFarlane, he was really trying not to commit. Like, you know, Billy Eichner and Luke McFarlane's character just didn't match on paper. They just didn't match. They didn't have a lot in common. And, you know, Billy Eichner's character would always challenge him in his way of thinking and his mindset and stuff like that. And he was just all kind of pent up and just like, no, you know, I'm just hooking up and that's about it. So it was funny seeing two men that don't really want to commit, but at the same time kind of want to commit, but not really want to commit, but they did want to commit, but they really didn't want to commit. And Billy was annoying. Billy Eichner annoyed the shit out of me in this movie. It was just like, God, hush. Talking a mile a minute, just complaining off the top, and it's just like, and you know how it is. I don't know if you've been there where you really don't want to commit, and the other person is fronting like they don't want to commit, but they really do want to commit, but they acting like they don't want to commit, but internally they want to commit. That's why they always fussing at you, because you're doing things that are non-committal, which is what they claim to like. But then ultimately they're like, oh, well, how come you can't do this? Because internally you know you want to commit, but you don't want to say you want to commit on the surface. Just say what's real. And Billy wouldn't do that for the longest. And I was just annoyed. I was just like, hush. This is why the dude keeps fading. And so it was just interesting to see Lucas's character bring those walls down to really embrace Billy's character and introducing them to the parents, and that's a big deal. And they were just like, yo, can you just tone it down just a little bit in front of my parents? So now he's telling him to just tone it down for the parents. And you know, anybody that's ever been in a relationship, if somebody tells you, can you not just be yourself while my parents are here, that hurts. That's devastating. It's like, yo, man, let me be me. Let me be who I am. If they don't like me for who I am, then fuck them. And this movie has a great message about that. If people don't like you for who you are, then just fuck them. You gotta be you. You gotta be you out here. And so that's the underlying theme of this movie. Is just like, yo, man, accept me for who I am. I accept you for who you are and your flaws and your pent up stuff and the stuff you don't want to deal with and holding yourself back, and you doing a dead end job that you don't even love because you're scared to really go out there, step out on faith and just, you know, do what you really love to do. And you want to just put up this image. And Billy represented that. And so he was just like, you know what, Billy, man, I'm going to make these chocolates, man. That's what I always wanted to do. I'm going to make these chocolates. And he was like, oh, this is good. But at the same time, he was like, but don't be you, man. Just don't be yourself, at least around my parents. And so, you know, they end up breaking up because of that. And just like, you know, it's whatever. And they break up. And typical romantic comedy fluff. Do what they have in the breakup and the walk away from one another and the sadness and the reminiscing and the moping around and then talking to the other characters and why don't you just go for it? And then they had that moment of clarity where they both miss each other and they see what it is, and then it's just like, and then the big grand gesture in this movie was, since Billy wasn't moving to another country, you know how the romantic comedies do. You know, they get their heart broken in. They going to Paris tonight. It was none of that. He was just at this little thing that he was doing at the museum he had going for the LGBTQ plus museum that they had going. And so Lucas's character is like, I'm gonna meet up with Billy, man. He hit me back up. And so the big romantic moment, one of the big romantic moments, was him actually jogging to go meet up with Billy. I was like, they really just dramatized this running down the street, like, you know what I'm saying? It was just, he could have just walked and caught the bus. He was like, oh, he's running. He's serious now. He's running over there. And then Billy did this whole song, this romantic like song he was singing to him, and I was just like, ugh. That's when it was just romantic comedy. I was all in until they did him running down the street to get to Billy like it was that urgent. And then he was singing this song to him. I was just like, oh, singing a song to somebody. It's corny, man. Corny. And then they end up, it ain't romantic comedy, happily ever after, man. It was just... So, Billy was annoying. So you gotta lose the saxophone because he got on my goddamn nerves. But I also respected where he was coming from within their little arguments. But he was just so annoying. I was just like, man, like I put myself in the shoes of the characters I watch in TV and movies. So I was like, could I date Billy? No, I could not. I would be like, you would have got on my last goddamn nerves. Though there was no way I could be in a relationship with Billy Eichner's character in this movie. I'd just be like, there's no way. I'd be like, you would get on my nerves 24/7. So I was like, nah, I couldn't do it. But so he losing the saxophone on the strip of that, he was annoying. But there was some fresh elements to this movie that took me out of the doldrums of typical romantic comedy cliches. Like it was really like me having a glimpse into the gay male lifestyle and what they were doing. I don't know if it was exaggerated or accurate or not. I don't know. But I was like, oh shit, this is an interesting viewpoint. Oh, they really be getting down like this? So it was just like, oh, this was like new territory for me, which I appreciated in watching this film. But forget all that. Y'all want to know the smooth jazz review of Bros. Well, here it is. Oh, yeah. I'm giving Bros 3 saxophones out of 5. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty good for a romantic comedy, all right? With the cliches tacked on at the end. That's pretty good for me. Because romantic comedies is down there with, it's romantic comedies, drug user movies where they be high on the drugs and shit, and the super weird, surrealistic, the movie is how you interpret it type genre. That's down there too. You know what I'm saying? They're all down in there of movies I just don't really rock with. And so, but three saxophones out of 5 is pretty legit. Definitely had some funny moments in there. But Billy, man, Billy was getting on my goddamn nerves. All right, y'all, that's my review of the movie Bros. If you saw Bros, let me know what you thought of the movie in the comments section below. Tune in, pull up, comment, let me know. And also, like, do you tap into movies that have, same-sex couples on the romantic comedy side? Do you tap into those, or do you just avoid them because you think you can't relate? It's because, nah, man, get in on those, man. Check them out. Because I was definitely putting myself in the shoes. I was just like, nah, man, me and Billy wouldn't vibe, you know what I'm saying? Me and Billy wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? It was just too much. It was a lot. You can't be too much with me. If you're too much, I'll be like, it's cute in doses. But when you're too much all the time, shit. But let me know what you thought of Bros in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as usual, we out here.